I was just reading some of the comments before we'd come on the air tonight, and like
It's ugly.
trying not to doom and gloom it, but I'm going to throw this one up right to start, and this is where we're going to start.
Trying
here.
not to, but
This is where we went from 82-0 to this.
Read it.
I think Boston is done. It's easy to say it's early in the season, but as long as Jaylen Brown is employed by them, they just won't win. God don't reward selfishness. I mean, he did only take like 11 shots, which was the good part about it.
That turned into a Jaylen Brown bashing. I should have known that's where it was heading.
I didn't know it was going there. I thought it was the whole team. But we've also got, let's see. We got this.
By the way, Celtics lose 106-103 to the 76ers. For those listening.
We got this.
Not watching.
Joe
will continue getting passes when Brown plays like this. Okay.
You got this.
More Brown slander.
I don't disagree. Rather than me bring the rage.
Not sure how you can justify to keep playing Pritchard. Guy is 0 for his last 100 and is a huge liability on D. He looks scared to shoot. That's fair.
Tatum went from MVP to, at best, the 2 on a championship team. Yeah. Derek White, who can do no wrong, 11 threes, kind of a lot.
Kind of a lot.
Spot
the lie there. Spot the lie.
It's kind of a lot.
Just saying, it's kind of Marcus Smart-esque there.
Yeah. So
anything on Porzingis? No.
There we go. No bench, and Porzingis
will be hurt.
Soon enough.
Yeah. Okay. That's doom and gloom.
Let's get the Holiday. Game. Yeah.
Focused on Embiid. Dropped 30 anyway. Should have locked down on Max.
Entire team have the talent, no winning instinct. Guys, I'm not disagreeing with you, and I'm not making fun of you. It's just interesting how the perception can change as quickly. When I do it, I do feel like I get in trouble sometimes. So
anything on Horford, the Embiid stopper?
No, we said there was another Al is done.
Minus 23 tonight for the Embiid stopper.
Yeah.
Tough one. Listen, tough one. Offensively, weird one. Ugly.
You know why it turns this ugly, Jimmy?
Second quarter there. Third quarter. Yeah.
Second was bad too. You know why it turns this quickly? It's shades of what you've seen before.
It's the PTSD factor.
It is, because what happened last game? Last game was like, okay, Minnesota's good, and Celtics didn't have it. You can excuse an off night. It was a good team they played, athletic, long, good defensively. They have a superstar player. Lots of reasons why that team can absolutely be competitive with you. You're down a starter, not a bad loss at all. But the vibe was, wow, that felt like the 2022 Celtics, like just for a flash. I'm not going to harp on it. We're not going to beat it in the ground. It's one game, but boy, did that feel like the 2022 Celtics. Tonight also felt like bad versions of the 2022 Celtics in stretches. And when you see that, that's when you start to get a little bit, what's going on here? And, and then you see your best players kind of shrink, and disappear and look lost and turn the ball over. You see Sherrod Blakely show up, here to drop some wisdom of his own. And so you start to get worried. Sherrod.
What's up, guys? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Sherrod, both you and I missed the last game. Okay.
True.
And
now we're back.
We don't know where we were on this.
Nobody mentioned you. Oh. The panic meter comes out.
Actually, let's get the 5-person pin. Oh, where's Sherrod on this one, right? Yeah.
We're going to get Sherrod in the middle. Sherrod's somewhere in the middle, I think, of us.
I am.
So
I'm somewhere between Josue and Jimmy.
My brother's calling me right now because we just got outbid on our fantasy football trade. We got beat, and he's pissed, and he's calling me. I can't pick up.
Who were you trying to get? The Ravens running back?
No, our league is, to be completely honest.
We'll get into it later.
That's for the end of the show.
So Sherrod, I'm not going to say like, oh my God, burn it down, trade everybody, fire Joe. The chat is. They're going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
I love them. The
chat is. But Sherrod, you might be a tad fuzzy right now, my friend. Are you seeing fuzz, Jimmy? He could just be He could just be moraying because of that that shirt.
It's more like 720p than fuzz.
720p. I haven't heard
Not
that
that
one in a
1080.
while.
It's not that 1080 shit that we all got now.
But Sherrod,
4K.
I'm not saying
8K.
like burn it all down sort of panic, but like how much are you like, okay, there's some
Panic's the wrong word, but I know what you're saying. Go on, Sherrod.
like legitimate concern with some of the things you've seen the last couple of games.
It didn't bother me as a one-off, and I'm not ready to freak out, but I think we need to hit the pause button a little bit on the greatest Celtics team of all time. I think we need to hit the pause button on that. There's some things that aren't really feeling right now. It seems that there's too much of an ebb and flow with their greatness and their crappiness. They're either really, really good or they're having those flashbacks to last year when we just kind of cringed when we saw them down the stretch. That play at the very end there, I don't know what they were looking for, but it was almost botched.
Yeah.
And because I think they were looking for Tatum, but it was over Tatum's head, so it just happened to wind up in Porzingis' hands. That was a great shot attempt, though.
He's talking about the Celtics. He is not a Celtics fan, I think.
No,
I was going to say no, but this was a game where I thought they were playing catch up all the way, and that the last 2-3 minutes was probably some of the best basketball they played all game, where they wiped out that 13-14 point deficit and had a chance to tie it there at the end. I'm not like ready to burn the house down, but I definitely want to make sure that the smoke detectors are working right now, because something feels like they need to get back home and get on a nice little running rhythm to make, I think, calm everyone down. Because I don't like what I saw. The Minnesota game to me was just kind of a one-off. That was the best defensive team in the NBA. They were at home, and the Celtics were due to have an off night. But the Philly game, it felt like this was one that I felt they should have won this one.
I don't feel they should have won this one.
They didn't play well enough to win it, but I think coming into it, I felt that this was the type of game that if you're going to say that you're like the best team in the NBA, you come into Philly and win this game, because that's a good Philly team now.
We have an alert from Bobby Manning, who's out in Philly, sending us a tweet from our friend Gary Washburn, and that tweet said, probably one of the more bizarre Missoula post-game sessions since he's been head coach, and that's saying something. And apparently, Joe,
it is something.
Apparently, the kumbaya moments that Joe and Gary have been enjoying so far this season, in the preseason and during the season, went up in flames.
Really?
And we're gonna get that clip for you.
Can't wait.
Was that because
of the
question that Gary asked or something? I'm
gonna guess yes.
I think Jimmy's got a winner.
I'm gonna guess yes.
But this is the thing though. I think this is one of those games where Joe. I think.
Team.
Oh God, I love that one.
Wick was there tonight.
Relocate the team.
Wick was there.
He was. This. You know what? It's hard for me to get angry about this loss. I mean, I think that I felt going into it. I felt that if they were going to be like the team that so many of us have built them up to be, they'd win it. And if they didn't, well, okay.
Well, then they're bums.
Yeah.
I mean,
and you got to, and this will be the last point I'll make on this. The fact we had to remind ourselves that basically the bulk of their schedule has been on the road, and to have the record that they have, where you've had 1-2 games at home. This homestand is going to be interesting to see whether the struggles they've had, the road dynamic was a factor, or whether it was just simply that they've got some work to do and some things to figure out as a group.
So I guess I'm a little bit more frustrated than Sherrod is. Just whatever. I mean, that's fine. It's a few games in, so take it all in stride, I guess. But
Jimmy, what are you most frustrated about?
Inconsistency. I thought on defense, they didn't try the way I know that they're capable of. I thought the Sixers ran them up and down the court. So that
kicked their ass on the boards.
That to me was an effort thing. Yeah, on the boards for one, fast break. We know that the Sixers are a good fast break team. And so I just I was frustrated that I just didn't think the Celtics came with that. Listen, they need to know that there's a target on their back every game. Good teams, bad teams. There are no days off, no games off that they can take. See you, Sherrod. Thank you for listening. There are no games
First time
off.
caller.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know. I just like that killer instinct. I mean, and Bobby texted this to us a couple days ago. He hated the way Jason Tatum answered some question, I think, in the post game after they lost.
Yeah, he laughed a lot.
He laughed something off, brushed it off as, got to play better, got to be better, And, then they come out and they play like this. I commend them for hanging in there in the end of the fourth quarter there. They were down 10 and they brought it back to a one possession game. Kudos for that. But same story. Got a clean look at the end, missed the three. And then, ultimately this time losing regulation. I thought that inbounds was interesting. It looked like White easily could have gotten it to Brown coming around that turn and chose not to, and ended up giving it to Porzingis, who had a clean look and missed well short. I don't know what the play call was supposed to be there, who really was supposed to go to, but that's how it looked to me.
I mean, you got a damn good look at the end there. So
you had a great look. No complaint
beef.
about the play at all, but I just thought it was interesting that they didn't get that White didn't give it to Brown when Brown was
he
pretty
shook
much
off Jalen
right
in
there.
the corner.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
sure.
I thought that was interesting. And Brown had just hit a three right before that. So whatever. I mean, a few things frustrate me, but yeah, that certainly is one of them. I mean, Brown and Tatum were cold throughout this one. Brown doesn't look. I'm going to save that. I know that you probably have some thoughts. I was glad to see Porzingis. On one hand, I thought Porzingis offensively looked good. On defense, again, it's against Embiid, but we're starting to see, physical limitations here a little bit on the defensive end with Porzingis.
You ever notice why I don't go hard on Jalen after bad Jalen games like all the time? Is because my overarching opinion on Brown doesn't change with a good game or a bad game. I'm not playing this like, oh, did you see that half, Zannis? I guess he stinks.
Right.
Nor am I like taking a victory lap when he has a dog shit game like this. I think he's got these flaws in his game that he hasn't been able to fix or get over. And when they rear their head, they're really freaking ugly, But obviously he's also capable of lighting the world on fire. That's just part of the Jaylen Brown experience. It's just, when you're talking about somebody you're trying to take to another level and, talking about him in a conversation of all NBA and among the best players, X, Y, and Z, I've never really bought into it for those reasons. We're going to get Sherrod back in a second. We're going to listen to Joe Mazzulla and Gary Washburn saying hi to each other after the game. Here we go.
I was just finished reading a great article that you wrote in 2016 that the Celtics shot too many threes, and they shot 42, and that was 7 years ago. And we only shot 5 more tonight, and they lost 121 to 114, and you blame the offense, but not the defense. So, what's your fascination with too much threes for the last 7 years?
No, it's been 7 years.
2016, it's 2023. I just read it. It was a great article.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. But it was like, are the Celtics settling for too many threes? You said that 7 years ago. You're ahead of the curve.
I am ahead of my time.
Dude, that was weird.
Tense. I can't tell if he's joking or if he's serious.
Oh, that's what do we call it? Tongue in cheek?
Yeah, exactly.
That was weird.
Well, I wish I knew what the question was.
I literally want to call Gary right now and just say, what the hell that was that?
Can we get Gary on? Can we get Gary on the show? Sure, get him on the show. Let's get the lowdown here. Let's get it right from Gary's mouth and what happened.
I mean,
that was weird.
I wonder what Gary was asking. I mean, was he saying, did you feel like you're relying too much on the 3-point, and when it's not falling, you have situations like this, perhaps? I mean, I don't know. What did they shoot from 3 tonight? It wasn't good. Yeah, 32%.
But I just the whole concept.
They took 47 threes. Yeah.
You write something 7 years ago, and we want to have a conversation about it after you just lost. Like,
it's strange. Dude, 7 years ago is completely different.
Also, the amount
you weren't the coach
7 years ago. 42 threes is like 55 threes now. So I mean,
right.
not quite, but still, it's like it goes up and up and up.
It's Stevens' philosophy. Jack 3.
Exactly.
Also, I mean, what are we doing here, man? Like, why is Joe doing that? Like, it just doesn't help him. It just doesn't.
It feels like
him.
it's almost like is it a deflection tactic to take the focus off of what we just saw?
I don't know.
That was bizarre.
Really a weird one. Yeah. It's really weird. It's really weird. I don't know.
That was just bizarre.
But what do you guys think? Do they take too many threes?
Yes, they did it again.
See,
yes, they did. Because it was when they get frustrated, when the pain, when you have defenders that are making it harder to get there. You've got a paint presence. What happened? The last two games are the first games they played with legitimate interior presence, and so it got a little bit frustrating. And it wasn't a layup drill like it was the other games. They couldn't get to the cup as efficiently. So it starts to get, and that's where it gets is, can you work through those things? I actually thought Tatum did a good job in Minnesota. Clearly having a tougher time getting what he wanted out of that game. But this game, you could tell the frustration. There was a lot more of this, lot of whatever, and then just settling for the first three, settling for that quick three. That's what you don't like. There's threes that you work for, and then there's threes that, it's the whole Joe philosophy of the first open look. And if it's an open three, it's a good three. And that's not necessarily the case.
That's not what.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that whole mindset, that's not why they got off to that great start. They didn't take the best, or excuse me, they didn't take the first open look. They took the best shot. And usually that was like Tatum backing someone down or Drew Holiday getting someone in the post, taking advantage of their size advantage that they had in positions. And you never really saw them kind of go to that, even though I thought that there were times where they could have done that. For me, and Jimmy, you talked about this earlier, for me, the most disturbing thing was seeing how Drew Holiday did a better job defending Joel Embiid than Porzingis. I mean, it wasn't even close. I mean,
that's a concern.
Yeah, that's a big concern.
And Al too, by the way.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, Joel is getting the ball in the elbow with Drew on him, and he's looking to facilitate rather than back him down. And he's getting the ball in the same spot with Porzingis on him, and he's getting aggressive, going to the rim. That's a little bit concerning. Because this is one of those teams that if you're getting to near the end of the line as far as the season is concerned, and you've got one team or two teams you got to get past to get to the finals, Philly is that type of team that's probably going to be there. So,
yeah,
I wasn't happy about the way that they defended, or how there were some defensive kinks that we found in their armor that Philly exposed. I thought.
Yeah. I think so too. And Maxi's a beast for them now, huh?
He is, can I say
his speed was a problem. His speed was a big problem.
I mean, they weren't keeping up.
He was 11 of 27, 3 of 11 from 3. Like, I get it. He is fast and he is good, but like we've seen him play well before. And his speed's always been a problem. He's just in a more prominent role now because Harden's not there, so he's got the ball in his hands. But like, we've seen this guy before. He didn't have a ridiculously dominant game. You're just more of him. But again, the final numbers, he wasn't that efficient tonight. He didn't have a dominant game. He's 11 for 27. I thought they did an okay job with him. He's very explosive and he's impressive, and you see it in flashes. But I'm not like flipping out over like Maxey torched them tonight. I mean, you hold Embiid to 27. Maxey shoots 11 for 27 with 25 points. You win those games. Like they were dysfunctional offensively today. They only gave up 106. I'm not bashing what happened on defense here. The offense just looks out of sync, and we're back to 2022 Celtics, which is if the threes fall, you're good, and if they don't, we're not, sort of thing. And that's kind of what you see in the last couple of games, and that's what's disheartening because you don't want this to become a team that's solely reliant on the shots falling or not.
Right, and I think that's when you talk about panic or whatnot, that's not the word, but that's why you're
jolted
your
back into
antennas
it.
are up. Yeah, your antennas are up because you're saying, well, not this again. In the first few games, we're like, this is awesome. They're scoring in the post. Look at these plays. Look at they're not just walking it up and chucking threes. And I'm not saying that's all they did tonight either, but there does seem to be a little bit more like remnants of that style of play. And if Gary mentioned something about that, or if he alluded to settling for threes tonight, and Joe gets super defensive about it, then that tells
means
me
they probably settled for too many threes.
That tells me that is probably some truth to it, because otherwise you wouldn't react that way. And
But
so
they did. They totally settled more than they normally do, though, in this game. I mean, even
Right.
if the numbers don't bear that out, they looked those shots. There's a reason why those shots came so easy against Philly, because Philly knew that the Celtics, if they're going to, the best way to beat the Celtics is to, frankly, force them to get comfortable. Let them get comfortable taking shots that aren't necessarily shots that you can rely on. They've been so good about working the inside and working the post and things like that. That this really felt like kind of an atypical game of the 23 Celtics. But to the point that you made, John, earlier, this is like, Back to the Future, damn near, what we saw. This is the kind of Celtics team that made fans cringe, thinking like, this is going to work some games, but when it doesn't work, it looks bad.
The difference was like, it wasn't like one, like you look at the Celtics shot charts. I mean, Porzingis led the team with 19 shots. I mean, Derek White was second with 18.
Jason Tatum was third.
A weird, it was a
field goal attempts.
Kind of weird night, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how many times do those games occur where neither Brown or Tatum is in your top two field goal attempts when they, playing a full game?
But I don't mind it.
I don't mind it when it works.
Yeah, exactly.
But if it doesn't work, then why aren't these guys, again, are they not working hard enough to find shots, to take shots? Or because if they're not forcing shots, that's great. I'm not saying force a bunch more threes. And it didn't seem like they did a whole lot.
It's bad when they take fewer shots and make fewer shots. So that's the problem there. Is if they were
be more aggressive.
Yeah,
Brown went to the line.
Yeah.
Brown went to the line twice. Tatum went to the line 3 times. That's not going to cut it.
Because Embiid owned them last postseason. Every time they went there, it ended badly.
Well, I don't care. Figure it out. That's not an excuse.
I got to get back to it. I got to get back to the Joe clip.
Play it again.
I got to play it one more time. This is not.
Play it again for the people who.
Look, I know people at home are going to be like, media making up stuff, and nobody likes the media. Of course, you're always going to side with players and coaches and this and that. This is just like unprofessional. It's just unprofessional.
Ahmed tells us that, I don't think it's in the clip, but basically Gary just said the offense settled for a lot of threes, and then Joe got defensive on it.
Yeah. So one more time. Again, I don't know what this does.
I was just finished reading a great article that you wrote in 2016 that the Celtics shot too many threes, and they shot 42, and that was 7 years ago. And they only shot 5 more tonight, and they lost 121 to 114, and you blame the offense, but not the defense. So, what's your fascination with too much threes for the last 7 years?
It's only been 7 years.
2016, it's 2023. I just read it. It was a great article.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So,
But it was like, are the Celtics settling for too many threes? You said that 7 years ago. You're ahead of the curve.
I am ahead of my time.
It's like toxic, kind of. It's like kind of psycho.
It's uncomfortable in every sense of the word.
Almost like he's like tying him up, and he's like,
it's not the gotcha you think it is too. It's like,
remember me?
Yeah,
you wrote an article about me 7 years ago.
He went so deep.
You weren't the coach 7 years ago, dude.
Do you know how I got these scars?
He was waiting for the next time Gary asked that to drop that on him. He couldn't friggin' wait. Yeah. After a loss, all he wanted to do was own Gary Washburn. That's where we are. Like, why do that, buddy?
He kind of reminded me of the Joker a little bit. It's creepy.
That is a little creepy.
You know how I got these
We need some mouth tape. Yeah.
Right? That's what it kind of felt like. It felt like he was tying him up and he was about to kill him. And he was like, hey, this is why I'm killing you.
Oh,
you wrote that article about me 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And by the way, it wasn't even about me.
It wasn't even about you.
Yeah.
You were.
Yeah, that was strange. I don't know. I mean, like.
Well, I think
you can't have those clips. You can't have those sound bites.
Well, here's the thing. The other thing too, and I don't know if you guys got into it before I jumped on, but they got their asses kicked on the boards badly. I mean, those offensive rebounds. Over
Sherrod,
and over
what's
and
your
over again?
obsession with too few rebounds? Huh?
Yeah,
What's
what
your
is-
obsession
yeah.
with that?
Oh, I don't know. It kind of F's you up when you don't win.
Huh?
You're like the number one rebounding team in the NBA.
You're ahead of the
You
curve
just
on
got your.
You're way ahead of the curve.
That's going to be a new one. You were ahead of the curve on
You're
that.
ahead of the curve, Jimmy.
That is going to be on our list.
That's a new
That's
one.
going to make the tournament this year.
I promise we'll
Ahead of
do
the
it this
curve.
year. This year we'll do a tournament
Ahead of the curve is
and
gonna
let
be
you
on
guys
there.
get into the action. We might even let you wager on what the
Hey.
final winner is going to be during March
Ahead
Madness.
of the curve.
Also, if you want to wager anything on any sport at any time, all you have to do is visit FanDuel.com/Boston. Get $150 in bonus bets when you place a winning $5 money line bet. Every time we talk about this, we try to explain to Sherrod money lines. You don't take close games here. You take either underdog games where you can win a lot of money with good odds on the money line, or sure things where you're not getting great odds, but you're pretty sure you're going to cash it in. But that's all you got to do. Just a $5 money line bet, clean, simple, and there you go. You get $150 in bonus bets when you do that. Bonus bets are, of course, non-refundable, and you got to use them within a week, but they are yours to play with. FanDuel.com/Boston. Get in on the action right away, and there it is for you to see. Nice and pretty and big. FanDuel.com/Boston. $150 in bonus bets. Another thing you can get involved with, because why not? Odds Are, our friends over at Odds Are, go to oddsr.com/Celtics, not a sportsbook, helps you bet smarter using machine learning and AI, and basically tells you, hey, don't bet this, bet that. So if you are interested in getting in on the action and you do sign up for FanDuel, it makes sense that you would take advantage of this free offer. Go to oddsr.com/Celtics, download that app. That's super important. 30-day free trial. That's all you have to do. Get advice. Make sure that you're betting smart over at oddsr.com. Let's get back to the game here. I have not spoken much about Jaylen Brown. I'm letting everybody else do the talking because I don't want this to seem like it's agenda driven, but Jaylen had a dog shit game tonight. Made two major winning plays late in the game with a three and a block shot. I actually wanted him to get that last shot there because I wanted to see if he could do the full Marcus Smart kind of, reversal of playing an absolutely terrible game but making all the plays when they counted. Ball instead went to Kristaps Porzingis, and he came up really, really short on a three-point attempt. But Brown, that maddening inconsistency here, and he's becoming, a target for people when they see the struggles. And I don't think he's been, some box scores might reflect differently. I don't think he's been great, for a lot of this year. And, some of the concerns about kind of finding his fit, I feel like it's warranted. What we talked about is just trying to sometimes force the issue. And that's kind of what happened tonight. I mean, those turnovers were just flat out forces, especially those back-to-back ones there, and just the situational awareness and what's necessary and what's needed at the time. I get it. Team's not doing well offensively. You're a super gifted offensive player, and you're like, I got to put my imprint on this game, and maybe I can help turn us around. But when it goes bad, it looks like this, and it was grisly for a while. It was grisly. Yeah. He had to sit in the fourth. I mean, he was killing him. Right. It was a short rest, and he came back in, but they had to get him out of there.
Right. And I give Joe Mazzulla some credit for doing that. I mean, just recognizing that my guy, he just didn't have it. Plain and simple. Whenever you have a game where your shots made is equal to the number of turnovers you've made, that's never a good thing. That's never good. And I'm not ahead of the curve when I say that's not a good thing.
You might be.
Just but Jaylen, he just had a shitty game. And to me, he's just got to find that equilibrium space where he can be impactful more so than harmful. And I thought he just didn't have it. I mean, he basically had a good 30, 45 seconds near the end where he had the block and he made the shot. And other than that, he really didn't give you a whole lot out there.
Yeah, I thought I know it's only 4 turnovers, I should say, but there are a couple that stood out to me just in like pretty close together. It's just like Come on, man. Like he was like dribbling in traffic. It was like the same.
The
It
spin
was all the
around
same
one,
stuff.
The spin
Yeah, it was just like,
yes, with
Who
the
didn't
left
see
hand
that
spin
coming?
move.
And then the one where he just tried to cross half court with it, and it's just like,
yeah.
just slapping it around until he finally lost it, and everyone else is looking at him like, you don't have to do this right now. Like you can pass it at any time.
Right. And that was the thing, is like it's very reminiscent of past seasons with the same style of trying to, dribble into traffic, leave your feet, turn the ball over, blah, 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 all that stuff. So that was frustrating. Off night after wise, it's fine. He had a big 3 at the end to put them within 3. And I think he hit like 2 threes in that fourth quarter there, that after being really, really cold. But listen, the thing about Jaylen Brown is he can play to his strengths now. Theoretically, he should be able to play to his strengths a lot more than he could in past years, because he shouldn't be needing to be out of position or point Jaylen or dribbling the ball when he doesn't need to be. Like, he should just be focused on scoring the basketball. He should be Tobias Harris, Sherrod, right? Obviously,
stop.
We want a better version.
Jimmy. I'm gonna just shut you down right the hell right now.
You know what I mean, though. You know what I mean.
He has to be better than Tobias Harris.
But that's the mindset I want. Just score.
Fine.
That's all. I know he's got to be better than Tobias Harris. That's just a name because they played the Sixers tonight.
Fine. He's Kelly Oubre.
Oh, God.
He should be Kelly Oubre. And you know what? Speaking of Kelly Oubre was looking for a job.
Now, listen.
And everybody could have had Kelly Oubre.
Listen, being ahead of the curve, since we're on that theme, Gary Washburn, the one that was 2016 article, Gary had been clamoring for Kelly Oubre for the longest time.
Yeah.
Like a long ass time that Gary wanted Kelly Oubre to be someone that the Celtics targeted. We talked about that on the A-List
Jimmy's
podcast
on the Oubre train.
over.
Yeah,
I've been on the Oubre train.
Jimmy's there, and I like him too. You'll find.
And he signed for like $2 million on a 1-year deal. And you're telling me, taking a look at this Celtics bench, that they couldn't find a place for Kelly Oubre?
The problem with Oubre, though, was that when he was looking at teams, he wanted to go somewhere where he get a chance to play and shine. And that wasn't going to happen in Boston.
This bench. You kidding me? There's 30 minutes available for him on this team.
He's not looking at that. He's seeing Tatum, he's seeing Brown, and he's seeing guys that are going to get the bulk of the shots. You look at this Philly team, other than Maxey and Joel, who the hell else is going to take shots? And so for him, I get it why you wanted to go to Philly. You got a better chance to put up big numbers. But Boston would have been a better fit, I think, for him long-term, because he could have been part of a team that was legitimately competing for a championship. And he could have been a big part of that.
It's an interesting bench, though. I like what Philly's assembled
Philly's
here.
Bench
with
is solid.
what they have. Like you've got guys who can. This is what we're trying to figure out what the Celtics need out of their bench, right? Philly's not getting great scoring out of guys like Covington or Batum, but they're getting good defense out of those guys. Beverly, another one. Kormaz can shoot a little bit. But that's about it. Like they're getting that type of contribution, and they know who's got to score, and it's the guys who they have in that top unit, which is kind of what the Celtics are, which again, I'm going to start to wonder, what's this? All three of you guys? Nay, nice. Thank you.
They want us to say, should they change coaches?
Yeah, we should have. It should have in the offseason. That was honestly, I was of that opinion.
So was I.
At 3-0,
right when they got eliminated. See ya.
At 3-0, I think Joe was a 50-50 to return. I swear, if they go down in 4. And I think Game 7 tilted it back to like, let's run it back and see what we've got. But who knows? Who knows? I mean, he'd gotten the extension. I'm not really sure what they would have done there. But you got to start to wonder, when you talk about Joe, everyone obsesses over too many threes. What's his philosophy? Making sure that the ball gets into certain people's hands at different times in the game. Is he actually telling them what they need to be doing, or is he just letting them kind of go play and he's in the back? Those have been the criticisms before. We have to start talking about like his kind of, his conservative approach to who he gives minutes to. It's really hard to enter the Missoula circle of trust. And right now, I think this should be audition time. These wins and losses don't matter as much. You have full health, so you have the luxury to mix and match a little bit, especially against weaker opponents. You need to, when you're deciding who's going to play on your bench, you need to give full night audition minutes to certain people. Like tonight's Lamar's night. not 4 minutes of Lamar, because you can't get a snapshot there. All of a sudden, Brissett, DNPCD back-to-back, he's friggin' gone. That's what you do to the Neesmiths of the world when you want to break their brains. Like, it's really hard to kind of bring guys in and out, give them 2-3 minutes, see if they look okay, and then never put them back in the game again. You got to start auditioning other guys and seeing if they can help you. You need some energy. You need some defense. You know what you didn't have tonight? You didn't have, I hate, like, it seems cliche-ish, but you didn't have the Marcus Smart, Grant Williams, gritty, dirty, get on the floor, body, and kind of, when things are getting ugly, you didn't have people who would play ugly. You had Pritchard and Hauser running around seeing if they could get threes off, and Hauser acquitted himself well today, but you might need to mix it up a little bit here. And you might need to put in the guys who are going to be athletic. And one thing, Brissett gave you energy, even though he wasn't giving you a ton else. But I think that's what you got to kind of look at from the bench here and not just keep running it back. There's just too many Hauser Pritchard lineups right there. And Hauser's toast, guys. Like, I mean, Pritchard.
Hauser. I was going to say, what?
Pritchard.
I was like, I hope not, because then they're really screwed.
Pritchard's not the reason they're losing games, but Pritchard's giving you 0. So please do something else. Do anything else. Try Banton a little bit. Try something. Just, you got to mix it up some.
Yeah, I mean,
and Joe doesn't do that.
No, and I guess that's the thing that's really surprising, because you have a bench with guys that have a very specific skill set that you need, and that high energy, and that dirty play, or not dirty play, but just that grind mindset. That's what Brissett does. That's what Lamar Stevens does. And you don't have anyone else on your squad who's playing significant minutes who can do that consistently. And so I don't get why you don't want that guy out there, because those are the kind of guys that can help you go on like an 8-0, 10-2 run without taking a single shot. They'll tip a ball out to Tatum, who'll hit a 3. They'll dive for a loose ball. They'll force a jump ball. They'll do all those little things that at the end of the night, when you look and break down what was the key run that you went on, that player at the end of your bench was on the floor. Yeah. And I just –
because he's a Syracuse guy, this is it? This is what we're doing?
Listen, it's not Brissett. I mean, we're talking about Lamar. John and I, we've both been on the Lamar Stevens bandwagon.
I don't know why Stevens can't get on the court.
Once Lamar Stevens gets on the floor and starts getting steady minutes, it's going to be extremely difficult to extract him from playing regularly, because I think he's just one of those energy guys that can do a lot of different things that, for whatever reason, we're not really seeing. I'm confused by it, because I thought that was one of the great offseason. I mean, Brad Stevens did a lot of really good deals this year, but I thought getting Lamar Stevens was one of those low-key, sneaky, really, really good deals that's going to pay off way more than people understand at that time.
I don't know what it is. I mean, the guy, maybe he sucks in practice. I don't know what the deal is, but
they don't spend enough time practicing for him to suck. They don't have enough days to practice. Maybe his offenses aren't like good enough.
I mean, he's got
who knows what they see.
He's got legit NBA experience. I mean, the guy played.
He started last year. I mean, for spurts,
60. He played over 60
for a
games
playoff
last
team.
Year. Yeah, regular minutes, and now he can't even crack. He can't even crack the bench, and probably the worst bench in the NBA, and he can't even get playing time.
In terms of scoring, it's like I think the Lakers are the
shooters.
Yeah, Lakers are the only team that gets fewer points from his bench than the Celtics.
I can't figure it out. I mean,
why did Brissett get the first run? Brissett has a decent, track record with shooting threes. He's not a volume shooter, but he can shoot. He hasn't shot well here. But again, Joe's obsession with making sure whoever's coming in off that bench can shoot, I think is factoring in what you have here. Certainly Stevens cannot.
Right.
Banton cannot, and those guys aren't earning the minutes.
I don't get it.
I mean, nobody on this bench can shoot except Hauser right now, as far as I'm concerned. So for me, it's a wash offensively. Bringing guys that have energy and can play defense, like you just said, John. The Sixers, what did they do? They have some solid role players on that bench that aren't looking to drop, 10, 15, 20 points a game.
This is a good idea. They should let Van Gundy do every presser.
That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Let's play fill in the blank. Van Gundy will be the Celtics coach by blank.
Oh, wow.
Damn. They should just
7 games in? Damn.
Turn Missoula
Really?
into like the defensive coordinator or whatever, offensive coordinator, so he doesn't have to do any press conferences. He just stays up in the halo, and then Van Gundy will be the figurehead, and he'll do all the other stuff and do the interviews.
Thank you guys sending in super chats. The proceeds would go to the hosts if they filled out their forms on which shows they were in on. But until then, Nick's just going to hold on to all of it and head down to Mita over in Eastie and have another martini. And that's what's going to happen.
Is that where the money's going?
That's going to happen with your super chat money. So
that's Nick's martini fund. I can't cut into that.
It's the martini fund. Yeah,
I can't dip into that.
Nick doesn't drink martinis as much as he drinks just bowls of vodka. There's nothing else in it. There's no like vermouth.
Not glasses, not shots, but bowls.
I will have a bowl of vodka.
I've sat next to him a few times when he's ordered a martini, and the bartender's like, "So it's just vodka?" He's like, "Well, it's yeah, actually it is. Yeah."
What's up, Dud? Yeah, we do need a bench, Dudley.
Dudley, say some prayers for our bench, please.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Chat's definitely a little behind us tonight. We're reacting to stuff that they said a little while back, but it is what it is.
Yeah, this happens to me.
We're a little bit behind.
Is Bobby joining us at all?
He's going to try. We'll hang out a few more minutes, see if Bobby gets on. Bobby is in Philly. Talking to the guys, he's got Cornette play. He's giving Cornette 2 minutes of interview time for every minute he played tonight. So it's a 6-minute interview, and we'll play the whole thing when Bobby gets back.
I don't even remember Cornette's minutes tonight.
I was gonna say he played tonight.
They were brief.
Damn. I'm looking on Twitter for any quotes coming up, but I don't see anything right now.
Yeah.
I don't see anything.
Do you remember that tweet you sent back in 2014, Jimmy? Do you remember that?
I'm actually, you guys can't see, but I'm deleting all my tweets. Anything that says too many threes, I'm deleting right now on Twitter.
Wow, he went back to 2016.
It's funny. It's funny that Judah mentions this. We are, in fact, talking about premium subscriptions.
God. Judah? Imagine having Judah on as a guest.
I'm friggin' terrified. But we are talking about
bash us for 20 minutes.
We're talking about premium subscription tier.
Oh, wow.
Where we will allow people to come
fans?
on. Yeah. People to come on with us and hang out and talk and just BS a little bit for kind of an extended garden report. We almost run it like Spaces. We'll kind of let you come in and hang out. Yeah.
Tough. On this show? Not on my show, buddy.
Not on your show?
No.
We'll do it. We will do it. I dare you.
Unless it's Kess.
I dare
me to do it. We'll do it, Judah. Even you.
What's
you can come on and
how do
let
you
me
know
have
it's
it,
got
buddy.
the premium subscription? People will
you
pay
don't know
just
ball.
People will pay just to bash you, John, actually.
Yeah. It's like it's like a virtual dunk tank.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
There'll be a line out the door.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Cass. Yeah, Cass, we know. You're first in line.
Here we go.
I'm glad that somebody commented this. This was an absolute bogus.
It was.
Bogus tech. He was running down full force and if he let go of the rim.
Bogus.
If Porzingis had let go of the rim, he would have fallen on his back. So, of course, he had to hold on a little bit longer. That was I couldn't get over that.
And it wasn't really, it wasn't like a showboating
Here's
thing.
the
It's
answer to my Van Gundy question.
Not at all. Mid-season, yeah. Are we this far behind? Damn.
Tomorrow. January.
Yeah. No, it's going to be
November 9th.
They've got like 3 different candidates who can fill in.
That's the downside of like having a really, really talented bench coaching staff.
They're coming for you. But then
are any of them doing anything? Where the hell were they last 2 games?
Yeah. The good news is Joe gets to be GM after they fire him.
Yeah, I know. That's the trend.
So that's how it works. It's kind of cool. It's the best situation to be in.
Failing upwards.
If you got years on your contract, we will just make you GM.
Yeah.
The bad news is we're going to have to let you go. The good news is you got a promotion.
You're promoted.
Yeah, you're moving up there, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Boy.
It's funny. So, yeah. But, yeah, look, it's not a there it is, Nick. Here we go. They're coming at Nick now for his vodka fund. You cheapo. Pay them. Do you think Wick went in there and told him it was unacceptable after the game?
Not today.
No.
Not today. Not today.
No.
I'm just curious what did Joe say to them, because for him to pull out the 2016, you wrote an article back then in the presser. What's he telling his players in the locker room after a game like this? Because there were very specific things that they got their asses kicked, areas they got their asses kicked in that had nothing to do with anything that was said or done in the past. You're the number one rebounding team, and you got just smashed on the glass. You did take too many threes because one of the strengths you've had is the ability to balance the 2-point game with your 3-point game. The Celtics, they rank, among they're kind of like middle of the pack when it comes to 2-pointers taken, but they're like top 3, top 4 in percentage. So it tells you that when you go to that particular you have a high efficiency of being impactful. And tonight, they just didn't look for those matchups where I thought they had some opportunities to work on that, work inside of the 3-point line.
This loss, if we're comparing losses, I'm way more disappointed in this loss than I was against
Definitely.
Minnesota.
Oh,
yeah.
It's not
absolutely.
Even close. And I'm trying to put a finger on why. It's Philly. It's a team that you're going to see later on, not just I'm talking about in the playoffs. You're going to see them later on in the playoffs at some point. You can't avoid a Boston-Philadelphia playoff matchup. And they got to figure out a way to be more physical with Embiid, get him off his game a little bit. He was running the show. I know his stat line doesn't jump out, but he was playing to the crowd. The crowd was into it. He was making some big plays on both ends of the court.
Very comfortable.
Like you said earlier, Sherrod, they were scared of him. The one thing they did right at the end was when they didn't double him and he scored over Tatum, they went back and they doubled him on the next possession, forced him to pass it, and then I think it was Maxey who missed the shot, and then they had a chance to tie up. So I'll give Missoula props for just not going, one-on-one against Embiid again on that last possession, but they have to be the Celtics have to be the killers out there, even though they're on the road, all that stuff.
Well,
they're the team that's supposed to be the team to beat.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to what we were talking earlier about just using your bench and playing to their strengths. They didn't have anybody that was grinding out there. They didn't have anybody that was you felt was playing balls out there, who was giving everything they had. It's just they were just kind of easy breezy out there, playing just real cool, calm, and getting their asses kicked out there.
Yeah, they did. We're gonna bring Bobby on in a second. First off, want to tell you about. Oh yeah, wait a minute.
Let's go.
HelloFresh back again with the Garden Report.
Meatloaf, we love you.
America's
back.
We can't quit you, HelloFresh.
We can't quit you. They can't quit us for that matter. They're back. They renewed with the Garden Report. So let's give these guys some love. America's #1 meal kit. Let's get down with it. You know the drill right now. It's farm fresh ingredients, customized recipes. You can mix and match whatever you want. You kind of choose categories and they put it together. You can swap out proteins and vegetables and customize your own thing, delivered to your door, menu cards, everything's pre-portioned. And all you have to do is whip it up. Takes about 20 minutes and you've got restaurant quality, gourmet meal right then and there. For those of us who are busy, as many of us are, you can kind of pick what you want. I got for my meal kit, I got the family one because that's got family friendly stuff that maybe the kids will eat too. But you can get low carb, high protein.
You wanted that mac and cheese, didn't you?
Yeah, Joe gets Bobby gets the fish. If that's your bag, you can get that. So definitely check it out right now. And
Bobby looks like a fish guy.
He's a fish guy.
I could have pegged him for a fish guy.
But you just got to go to HelloFresh.com/CLNS50. Use that code CLNS50, 50% off plus free shipping. It's a really good deal. So go check it out and take advantage of this.
You can't screw it up. You can't screw it up.
You can't screw it up.
They spell it out for you.
And the best part about it is there's two great things I always talk about. One is the pre-portioned ingredients so you don't have a lot of waste. As I say, you go to the grocery store and you buy too much of one thing and then you only need it for a little bit of a dish. So that's great. You have just what you need.
In your fridge and it gets bad and then you're like, what smells in my fridge? And then it's like, oh, this it's expired 2 years ago.
The other thing that's really good is the creativity to like slightly deviate from what you would normally make. Like here, I made grilled chicken and broccoli. Like, it's like, it's a little bit different. So that's good. Let's bring in Bobby.
Fish guy.
What's
up?
Bobby.
What's going on? You got me?
First of all, yeah, we got you. Is Joe okay?
Sounds fine with the game.
Yeah. Bobby looked around. He's like,
that look was like,
I don't think so.
He's like, Bobby, I just watched a podcast of yours from all right, go Bobby.
You said back in the Garden Report that I was a weirdo. I did.
Yeah, that was 5 years ago.
No, it was Joe. It was last night.
Still think I'm a weirdo?
Last night. I did. But yeah, anyway.
A familiar
Bobby's like, he's right behind me.
There's a lot right behind me.
We can't see it, but Joe is in front of the camera with a gun pointing at Bobby. You better say the right thing, kid.
Right, yeah, he's reading now, obviously. But what I came away with from that presser was a familiar tone of we played good, we did some good things. I liked how the bench played, even said. So not a lot of constructive even criticism of the team out of this one in a game where they pretty much got outcompeted throughout, outmaneuvered at times. But overall, I thought they just let the Sixers play comfortable for much of this one. And the one big thing I felt coming out of this was that this is a team in Philadelphia that has really struggled, really looked off balance against the Celtics in recent years. And in this game, they kind of did whatever they wanted for most of it until the late collapse where they just looked like an absolute disaster. And I thought that's what the comeback was more about than anything the Celtics did, though they did start the fourth quarter well. But after 2 bad losses, after 3 games where your reliance on the three-point shot faded a little bit in terms of its effectiveness, you figure you'd hear some things they need to work on, some things that they could do better, some points he could adjust on. Joe, that is. But overall, much like last year, we played well. We did some good stuff and we lost. A familiar tone from him post game, even when
we talked about that earlier, Bobby. And Bobby, I had a question for you though. I mean, one of the big differences that people probably haven't paid much attention to with Philadelphia is they got a new head coach. How much do you think the Nick Nurse factor played into this Philadelphia team looking and playing a lot different than we've seen in past years?
It's a big factor, but the personnel obviously is too. I thought Batum was great in this one. Maxi's more free to do whatever he wants. In fact, Nick Nurse said coming into this game, he wants him to be more aggressive. He wants him to do more. He wants him to shoot more. He wants him to just do more for this team, and you saw him do that in this game. I thought he gave the Celtics fits at times. Embiid doesn't have to do as much, especially late in this game. He was able to defer to some other players. Then he hit that big shot over Tatum. So there's more balance on this team, particularly on both ends of the ball. I thought they defended well for much of this game. I thought, again, something I've been talking about, John, he really challenged Porzingis, and they were going at him. The Celtics tried to keep Porzingis away from him, but he was still able to inflict, along with others, 4 fouls.
But can't you live with the results? Can't you live with a?
You can, and I thought about that.
Can't you live with a 20-point Embiid game? I mean, 27-point Embiid game when he only gets to the line 6 times. That's a. You win most of those games.
Yeah, you should. I mean, because Embiid, he's a guy. Yeah, he's a guy
that's neutralizing Embiid. Like you win most of those games. He didn't eat you up. He didn't get all your bigs in foul trouble. Porzingis got 2 quick ones there in the second half. But to get to 4, and then he took a rest a little early. That was kind of a bummer. He comes out of, I think, like the 9:36 mark there of the fourth. Bobby's praying. We'll give him a chance to reload.
Joe got him. Damn it.
What did I say about Joe before?
That 2019 Garden Report. Damn.
What did I say about Joe? Bringing Bobby back. But Bobby, I say you live with that, right? You live with what you got out of Embiid tonight. I don't think that ate him alive. You can't play him perfect. In fact, I thought he was more successful than I would have expected.
Yeah, he's frozen again. So.
Yeah, he's grinning though. I think I made him happy.
He's happy now.
You always
happy. He's happy.
He's in a better place.
Bobby's happy. So I don't know. I want more post-game insight. I want to know, like,
I do too. Did he even mention the brouhaha? Did he even mention it?
no, I want to ask him about that.
It was a do-to-do, I would say.
Yeah.
How's
It's
the
a little
Twitter
dude
world?
to do.
How's the Twitter world reacting to it?
I haven't seen nothing.
Are they
I don't
like-
think Twitter even knows it happened.
It's been pretty quiet.
The only people who know about it are the people who are on this show.
Yeah.
It has not made airwaves. Dun, 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 dun. I'm on Twitter right now. I don't see anything.
No, everyone just left it alone. They're just gonna let Gary's catching the body there. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, Missoula and Gary went at it again. Okay. I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently it's on Twitter. Amit posted it.
Of course, Ahmed posted it.
He's my That's my quarterback.
Yeah.
That's my guy.
That's my guy.
Oh,
So
yeah. 134 RTs.
yeah, that's funny. Anyway, so I'm waiting for Bobby to jump back in. We'll get his final kind of takes on the game, and we'll move on from there. I guess we'll give we kind of declared him dead. So I think it's fair to talk about Hauser. It's always better when the shots fall, which is great. But I also thought he had a couple decent defensive moments in this game as well.
Yeah.
So this guy can play for my team, but again, it's so much is contingent on the shots falling. If he was 0 for 3 with 3 bricks, it doesn't work as well. But I liked it. I loved he had a Klay Thompson-esque catch and shoot 3 in the corner where the ball just he caught it high and it stayed high and he just flicked it on a quick release there on a skip pass. Just looked kind of a little bit more like less spazzy or like she's looked like under control, like the shots. But again, when the shots fall, everything feels a little different, right?
But the thing about him, that's his job. I mean, like literally, if you go down a checklist of things he's supposed to do every night, the only thing that he should be focused on and care about he does consistently is make open shots. You're not going to make every shot, but make the open ones. And I thought this was a game where he got a few to go down and got comfortable and had an over, and he had a good game. And he's starting to build up to some level of consistency with the shot making after not being able to hit a damn thing for the first 3-4 games of the season. But this is what he's supposed to do. And it's refreshing to see a guy on that second unit who's doing exactly what they're supposed to do out there.
Yeah.
Bobby's back.
Bobby moves a little further away from Joe. So Bobby, what was the vibe?
Bobby blinked twice.
Blink twice if Joe's not right next to you.
Oh no!
Can't hear you. No audio right now, Bobby. Okay,
this freaking guy.
That was the Bobby Manning report. He's in the bowels of the stadium.
We sent him to Philly, and we can't even hear a word. All right,
We'll try it
again.
That should be good.
Okay,
got it. So what was what?
You
what
have
was
the
everyone?
floor.
How uncomfortable was everyone when that happened?
You got me?
More uncomfortable
We
than we
totally
are right
have
now.
you. This is uncomfortable though.
Uncomfortable conversations. Go.
All right, I got you now. Yeah, so I was saying on Porzingis.
No.
Balance, John.
No.
Right,
Time
let
out.
him finish. Let him
Time
finish
out.
on Porzingis.
We were asking because I want to get this before you
Okay.
disappear again. What was the vibe in the what was the vibe in the press room when Joe kind of weirded out on Gary there?
Shock. Maybe that's a little bit of a strong word, but
Everyone's just kind of looking around.
definitely a sense of I thought this was in the past.
Right? I did. I for sure did.
But it was all good.
Joe.
It was all good times to start the year. So you did wonder how it would go when the team started reeling a little bit. And that's why, listen, the exchange and the pettiness is fine. I have no problem with that if that's how he wants to react to some, tough questioning. But I don't like to hear that, we played well. after a bad loss. And I thought this was a bad loss. You went down by 14 and looked like you were out of it midway through the fourth quarter against a team that is playing well, that has made some good adjustments here roster-wise, that is well coached. But given what you did to start this season, you should at least be on par with them in a game like this. And to be getting blown out, I'd say midway through the fourth quarter, something had to be wrong. And, you were fine with the Porzingis stuff, John. Obviously, Brown and Tatum didn't play well, but what do you think the biggest problem was in this one?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly, I agree with Gary in a sense that, like, I think when things get hard for them, and you saw it last game with some long perimeter defenders who make it a little tougher for those guys to get where they want to go, backed up with a strong interior presence where you had Gobert and there, Bobby's been evicted. Time to make the donuts. Okay. And Embiid, who really tortured them in the playoffs last year. I think that's in their heads there. And when that happens, you start to settle a little bit. And so
I'm all good. Thank you. Yep.
So I thought the offensive approach wasn't great there. I thought what did we say? Ultimately, this is always going to come down to Tatum and Brown. When Tatum and Brown are kind of no-shows, both of them, that's going to be a problem for you as well. So again, I'm not going to quibble as much with the defense. I thought just the offensive approach was off again tonight. I hate that it's all just shots fall, shots don't fall, Bobby. Bobby, if they're still beeping around you, we'll just have somebody else talk here. Yeah, no problem. We got a little.
I hate that I feel like I'm back in 2022. I hate that. I absolutely hate that because I felt that this team had turned a page with all that. Yeah. But the fact that and I think it's kind of fitting that Joe is kind of harping on something that was said or written back in 2016 because this team felt like a kind of back to the future type of team. Bobby, what the hell is going on around you, buddy?
If you can hear it, we can hear it. So just keep it on mute, okay?
My God. My goodness, Bobby. You got Bobby in a damn torture changer over there.
Yeah. I think there was just an accident. There'll be finally a accident report after that one.
Should I talk for a second while I can here?
Yes.
There you go. Jump in. Go.
It's
back against the wall, Bobby. Go for it.
It's going back and looking at the article. It's the most shocking part, right?
That's Bobby Manning.
Thanks for coming out. Good night.
Yes, it was the most shocking part.
So I read something about you. They like the gotcha-ness of it was weird.
I
read something. You didn't like it back then, did you?
It was exactly. It was like It was the definite like I gotcha like.
And it's like
he'd been saving that. He was saving that for this moment.
You know it. Yeah.
That's the
worst. It was predetermined.
And it didn't land. Yeah.
It's like, when were you just reading that? You just were coaching a game that, by the way, you lost.
2016? What the hell are you doing reading stuff from 7 years ago?
It means he was he did Oppo research on a reporter. He was looking for dirt on Washburn to call him on something. So a coach of an NBA franchise is digging up his own. I'm going to find out where Gary said something and I'm going to let him have it. Oppo research on a journalist. It's so
I wish Gary gave it back a little bit more. Like, oh, really? You thought it was a good article? What'd you like about it? What was your favorite part? Like
Gary. Gary's too nice of a guy to do that shit. Yeah. We're petty. We're petty. We'd absolutely put that back in his face. We're more petty than Gary is.
And I agree with you, John. They did shoot too many threes in this one. Again, it's not about the number. It's in the first quarter. I thought, especially, just tossing them up, and the Sixers did it too. There was a little bit of a stretch in different quarters where both teams were just tossing them up back and forth, but there wasn't the effort to generate good ones until later in this game. And to their credit, I thought they did a better job later in the game, stringing together multiple passes, creating some good looks that they missed on, including the game-tying attempt by Porzingis, which was a pretty good look. He said he, shot it too short, thought, stepped into it like a mid-ranger, and he knew it was short right away, but it was a good look. He got Harris flying by him, and overall in that fourth quarter, they started to generate some better looks. But as you said, John, just the sense that, this possession, there's nothing there, boom, bombs away from three. They did that in this one.
He got it in.
Just beat the shot clock. Bobby with the shot clock beater.
Please take all your checkout items to the cashier. We will be closing in 5 minutes.
I got four.
Bobby, thoughts on
And when Bobby opens his mouth, you gotta let him go.
This is like a radio segment. I just gotta get it in.
I wanted Porzingis thoughts. Go.
Offensively, great. I'm glad they looked for him late. He didn't shoot enough threes early, and defensively, I still do have some questions about him fitting in this
And
system.
time.
Yeah.
You say you have some questions about him. I mean, be more specific. Like, what are some of your questions?
But don't say anything for a few minutes.
Yeah.
I think
We'll
against
get back to that.
I think against the bigger centers who are making.
If it is the forklift, it's the
boy.
Wi-Fi.
Oh boy.
If it's
the bowels of Philadelphia.
We got him. We got him. Nope, we don't have him.
We don't have him.
This is how I want to remember Bobby, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Screenshot.
Smiling.
He's just a happy boy.
He's a happy guy. That's how I want to remember him.
Yeah.
The last time anyone saw Bobby alive.
That's what he smiled a lot more. He smiled a lot more before he got on the beat. The beat turned him.
Oh my God! You should see poor Taylor.
Oh really? I can see that. Yeah.
The Patriots killed him in 9 games.
Yeah.
This is the most positive.
He came on at the wrong time.
He's the most positive human being I know, and they killed him. What have you done to Taylor?
Yeah. If he can survive this season, he can survive any season.
Bobby's still, just so you guys know, he's still there.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Frame it. Wait, hold on 1 second. It's missing one thing. Let me pull it up here. It's missing one thing. This is how I choose to remember Bob. Oh, you moved it. I told you to leave it.
I didn't. He glitched out.
No, it backfired. Now we have to apologize.
Bobby's moving to a much better, quieter spot. My question is, what's my question to Bobby? Why didn't we pick that spot first?
Yes, Bobby.
See what happened was
I could go to a quiet spot with good Wi-Fi, or I could just hang out here for 25 minutes.
We can go to this construction zone and see what's going on over here.
Hey, let's get some sound in here. Beeping noise guy. Yeah. Play my song. Let's go.
Yeah. Let's circle back. What was up with our man Jason Tatum tonight?
Not sure. I mean, he wasn't good, obviously, but I didn't get a sense that he just kind of had that. I'm going to take over this game, and he just seemed very comfortable and just real cool, breezy about the game. Like, I didn't think he was horrible, but I definitely didn't think that he was playing his game. He was just kind of out there. See,
wasn't aggressive.
No, not at all. I mean, his numbers, scoring wise, were down. I think he had 16 points, something like that. But he had
don't anybody say but the rebounds. I don't want to hear it. Okay. Like,
I mean, he did
what
have
he's here to do.
15.
He did. It's great. I actually think he's been great as a rebounder this year, but he's there to score and he's there to initiate offense. He's your slump buster. When Brown was having a bad game, and they weren't really getting any flow on offense, that's kind of where you got to turn to Tatum and be like, all right, man, you got to kind of save us. And when he doesn't do that, that's kind of what you need him for. So, Bobby, a little bit on Tatum's game. No.
Oh my God. No, it says he's got good connection right now, though.
You think, Bobby? You think we should have posted him more?
This freaking guy, man.
Oh no.
Whoa.
Oh.
Now you look good. Bobby, talk a little bit about Tatum. We didn't get in on him much early.
Yeah, I didn't think he had a great game. And similar to Minnesota, I felt like as the game went on, he just faded from the offense a little bit. And he had to in this one. I felt like Derek did a better job late setting up the offense. Holiday really got the offense going late and was probably their best facilitator in this one. So I think it was natural, his move off the ball in this one and passiveness, if you want to call it that. I did just miss his presser, so I didn't get any reaction from him. But it wasn't his best game. And I think he is stringing together a few here that haven't been his strongest in terms of turnovers, in terms of guys closing him off. And Another problem we do have to talk about here is particularly into these second unit lineups where he's playing more now to help stagger rotations. Hauser, Pritchard, those kind of guys aren't spreading the floor, so they are able to load up on Tatum in a way that's made it more challenging for him, that's ramped up the turnovers a little bit, and it's just limited his effectiveness in those minutes. They've gotten away from Brown, I feel like, mostly in those lineups, John, where they've done the Brown and bench guys. They've had a move to like a Porzingis Tatum thing I saw mostly in this one.
Yeah.
And defenses just aren't respecting Hauser, even though he's hitting some shots here or there. They're definitely not respecting Pritchard. And once again, as you've talked about, John, you don't try anyone else in this game. Brissett, DNP again. Lamar, still nothing from him. Svi, no Svi. And Cade is still hurt. I talked to him this morning. It doesn't sound like he's anywhere close to coming back. So you're in a tough spot with that bench. I don't feel like anyone's playing well off of it. You're safe for Horford, who's decent in this one. And you have your 5 starters who are back in this one and mostly effective, but once you get into those second units, it gets shaky, even for the starters who are staggering with them. Pritchard had an awful turnover trying to throw an entry pass to Porzingis. He's completely lost out there. And even though Hauser's giving you some decent shooting, not quite to his standard, but decent shooting, you're going to have to take a look at Pritchard, I think, after this one and figure out what you're going to do with that spot.
Yeah. Do you think every time they play Philly going forward from here on out, they'll go double big?
You got to mix it in.
Because I don't think you want. Look, I think you survived it tonight, but you had to mix in some Holiday, on Embiid as he kind of came in there to start the game. It's always amazing that they'll literally let him guard anybody. But it's not the ideal matchup. Most people don't have an ideal matchup for Embiid, but you think that next time they're going to throw more bodies at him and bring in Al and bring a guard off the bench?
It'd be a good idea, and I get why they didn't get away from it here. You're plus 37 with that lineup, and you were killing everybody. So
right.
As much as I want to see starter by committee, as much as I want to see double big to start games in the preseason, I was okay with rolling with it in this one. You're going to have to look at it in certain spots, especially if you're not going to put Porzingis on Embiid. I mean, your go-to's Holiday on Embiid, it's the best you can do, I guess, but it's not a great plan for going against him. And like I said, to open it up, Philadelphia's comfort against you really stood out. Embiid's comfort going against you in this one. This looked like a team that was confident that they were going to beat the Celtics in this one for much of it, and they went out and did it. It's a different team. It's a whole different dynamic between these teams. And you know what I almost said during the game, John? I didn't want to go this far yet because we haven't seen enough of this, but you made yourself a better team with what you did in the offseason, but you might have put yourself in a worse position against Philly specifically. Like, this looks like it's going to be a tough matchup for Boston, and we'll see how it progresses. We'll see where both teams are at late in the year when it matters. But you had a hard time against this team tonight.
Yeah. I mean, again, one game. We'll see how they play them next time.
That's why that's not my take yet, but it was something that popped into my head.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Bobby, they were minus 13 on the boards, and you've been like one of, if not the best rebounding team in the league. I something as simple as closing the gap on rebounding would have probably been enough to win this game. And he frees. Oh, he's not free. Okay.
No, he's not.
I'm here. I got you.
No, we got you. Final thoughts, guys. We're going to wrap it up here. We got more games coming up Friday and Saturday this weekend, so there's going to be a lot of Garden Report action. Bobby, closing thoughts. Again, we're not going full on panic meter, but like last 2 losses versus first 5 wins. Which is closer, which is more emblematic of the type of Celtics do you think we're going to see over the first half of the season here?
I think what you can say confidently is you have a dominant starting 5, and when that group's on the floor, you're closer to that team that was running away with wins early. But when you're mixing and matching lineups, when a guy's out, as Derek was the last 2 games, you're closer to this team that's been pushing down to the wire and trying to come back in a couple of these games here. So you're in between. Obviously, that's the easy answer. That's the way you're going to take away from these games here. But you do look at that opening stretch. Some trouble late with New York, some trouble on the boards in that game too. A pretty similar game to tonight that you pulled out on some big shots and good shooting in that game late. Miami didn't have their full complement of guys. Washington, joke team. Indiana didn't have its best player. So you do have to take those caveats away from the early big wins and not completely scratch them off and put an asterisk next to them. But now that you've seen them against some more fully loaded and dynamic opponents, they have some weaknesses that they're going to have to shore up here. And maybe it's roster moves, maybe it's coaching, maybe it's individuals performing better, like a Jalen in this game, who was just a complete no-show. But they got some stuff to improve on here, clearly. And that's why I just don't love Joe taking the we played well approach in this postgame. I don't like it. It's the tone he set last year, and it allowed this inconsistency to creep for all of season.
Yeah. I guess I don't love, I'm not going to get into it now.
I love Lamb.
Yeah, I love Jimmy Sherrod, final thoughts here?
Sure.
No, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing how they respond to this homestand coming up. This will be really a good opportunity for them to right a lot of the wrongs that we've seen in front of their home fans, see what adjustments Joe's going to make. And, hopefully, he'll get this team, back on track.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to try some stuff, Joe. That's all I'm saying.
Right. I mean, this is the time of year to do it.
Free Lamar Stevens, y'all. Free Lamar Stevens.
At some point, I wonder if Brad's going to come downstairs. This is what I wasn't going to say, and be like, so I got you these guys. Want to try them? I know,
play with your toys, Joe. Play with your
they're
toys.
not great. They're not great, but neither's what we're doing right now. So maybe try these guys out. It's a waste of time if we don't.
Right. We're still paying them. I agree with Bobby. I don't like the message. If you don't play well, or if there's some things that you don't do wrong, don't you sit there and say, "Oh, I thought we played well." That's reminds you of Montgomery on the Bruins last year in the playoffs.
Guys, I got to tell you one thing. People are freaking out that we're not going to sit here and say the bench depth. There's nothing left to say. The bench is terrible. We're sitting here. We just keep saying, try new guys. I don't know how many different ways we can say it. We're not missing it. It's just the bench is bad right now. We know this.
Guys,
it's well established.
There is no bench depth. What's to say about it?
They're not playing. They're there. They're just not playing.
We're sitting here begging Joe to try something else because it's a 0 right now. You're getting close to 0 out of them.
I haven't said it in a while, John, and I don't believe it, but I'll just put it out there again.
Oh, boy.
You send Drew to the bench.
No, you send Jalen to the bench. There it is. I said it. Good night. I
close the chat down. Close the chat down.
I threatened to say it, and I was only going to do it if Bobby pulled that Drew shit again. And there it is. Brown to the bench.
It's just an idea, and I guess.
And
John
I got one too.
Yep.
John, you were ahead of the curve on that.
I'm way ahead of the curve.
You're way ahead of the curve on that.
You
actually said that in 2016, probably too.
John, I had the. You knew what I was coming with, and you had the answer. That's how Gary's gonna play it next time, right?
Yeah. I just read a tweet from John.
I'm not entirely kidding. I'm not.
I know you're not.
I read a tweet. I read a tweet from John praising Double Big in 2022.
Yeah. There it is. That's what we're gonna do.
Okay. I mean, my last thought is
hopefully everyone's gone. Nobody heard that.
Roles on the team, roles in the starters. Do they know what they are? Are they comfortable in the role that they have? I heard Joe today on the radio say that he wants Tatum or Brown taking the last shot every time. Porzingis takes the last shot tonight. So I'm wondering if there's just a lack of cohesiveness with the starting lineup that is going to take some time. Because at the end of the day, you can complain about the bench all you want, but the starters are going to have to be lights out for them to go anywhere. So I'm still waiting to see how the roles kind of shake out with the new.
I can't wait 7 years from now with the Garden Report with that statement coming back on me.
Yeah. Something tells me it won't be the last time we hear it.
John, shut the F up.
There it is. Yeah.
I miss Marcus Smart, y'all. I miss Marcus.
Yeah.
Did the Celtics miss Marcus tonight?
We did talk about they missed the grit of when things sometimes you got to get a little nasty and they're missing nasty a little bit where the Marcus and the Grant and this and that, which is why we say let's get Sparky off the bench. Let's get
the bench unit
guys.
that they have now. Yeah. I'll tell you what, when they roll out Cornette, Hauser, and Pritchard, nobody's too worried about that lineup coming in there. So they should probably try to mix it up and get a little bit more physical. That would be something that I would suggest to them.
Yeah. We'll try it.
No one's shaking in their boots when those three guys enter the game. I hate to
Not
say
one
it.
bit. Not one bit. Anyway, Celtics go down to the Philadelphia 76ers, 106-103. That is their second straight loss. They're back Friday at the Garden with the.
It's a tournament
in-season
game,
tournament.
everybody. Nobody cares.
Did you hear Jalen's comments on
No,
it
what'd
this
he say?
morning? Abby asked if he was excited for the in-season tournament Friday, and he said, "I wouldn't choose the word excited."
What word would he choose?
Players Association VP, ambassador of the game, Jalen Brown there doing the work.
And guess what? He's not excited, and he can actually make $500,000 off this tournament, whereas the rest of us just have to pretend like it means anything.
Yeah.
And he's not excited.
All right, we're out. We'll see you guys later. I disagree with this statement. No grit, all finesse. I actually think Holiday and White keep bringing grit to
We didn't
the
mention
starting
White
lineup
tonight,
and
but-
approach. He just missed shots. He had good shots all night. He did. I actually thought Holiday didn't shoot a ton. He's still aggressively taking it to the basket. He's missed.
He had a hot
finishing
start to the
couple of
game
times.
too.
He did. He missed a couple late when he got in close, but I thought they were good looks. I thought all of White's threes were good looks too. They didn't go down. So again, it's a very make-missy sort of game. We're not having half of these conversations here if some open shots go down. They did not go down, and then it makes it easier.
Are you saying they missed shots?
Look, it sometimes is what it is, you know.
Make this league.
You know, sometimes it is that simple. Yeah.
I get it.
Anyway,
I get it.
all right, guys, we'll wrap it up. We'll see you guys Friday, Saturday, and on and on and on. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for chatting with one another. Thank you for keeping it civil. We do appreciate that. Thank you for your enthusiasm. Don't give up, guys. Don't give up.
Don't ever give up.
Alive.
Keep it alive. Keep it alive. We'll see